Samuel Whittemore was a 78-year-old farmer when he became an American legend. Showing that regardless of age, you still have something to give and a reason to stand and fight. Samuel had been a leader in his town and fought on the political side of things in advance of freedom and opposing the laws the British were imposing on the then colonies. From the Stamp Act to the Tea Act among others. He was a member of the Committee of Correspondence and of his local town government, being elected to the Massachusetts Committee of Convention. The Committee of Correspondence was created in 1772 in Boston by Samuel Adams to coordinate, organize, and rally around the ideas of freedom and liberty which led to the American Revolution. There would be a committee in nearly every town in a beautiful way to connect the colonies into a single nation which would need to fight together as one in order to defeat the British. It was truly what we would call today a grassroots movement. The battles of Lexington and Concord in April 1775 is what led to Whittemore being as famous as he is. The British had to march from the city of Boston out into the more rural areas and wanted to seize not only stockpiles of guns but also capture Samuel Adams and Paul Revere. Now, as we know, the famous battles of Lexington and Concord happen, where the British and the militia trade shots and the American Revolution as we know it begins. Now, as this battle is going on, the British realize they have to retreat. In the retreat, every town has Minutemen who join the fight and fire on the British as they pass through each town. Samuel Whittemore owns a farm on the route the British are taking for a retreat, so there are hundreds of British soldiers marching down the road, many already injured and dying. Whittemore, armed with a rifle and pistol, started to fire from a covered position on the marching British. He managed to kill 2, maybe 3 British soldiers before a detachment of British soldiers were sent to find Whittemore. When the British caught up with Whittemore, they shot him in the face, bayonet him at least 6 times, and beat him over the head with their muskets. As this is more than enough to kill a man, the British had to have thought Whittemore was dead. But astonishingly, he was patched up by a doctor and lived another 18 years, and finally died at the age of 96. The American Revolution happened because of men like Samuel Whittemore. It was the average person, who took an interest in local politics, and fought when war came to his door, which set America on a path towards freedom. The politicians we so revere now were for the most part playing catch-up in the early days, as the American people themselves already declared independence. It just was not written down till 1776. The sacrifices the colonists were willing to endure, the grit and determination they had, the true belief in what they were doing, is shown in people like Samuel Whittemore. All of these things, in the individual, is what leads to success, in life, or revolution. At age 76, he wasn't sitting on the porch watching as war passed him by, the way we sit on the couch and watch TV as the world passes us by. He was an active participant. He wasn't going to let the next generation do the fighting. He was going to sacrifice so maybe the future generations could have a better life. Samuel Whittemore knew he had more to give, and he gave every drop of blood and ounce of strength he had that spring day. The pain and hardship he endured from that day, I believe he would have said it was worth it, cause he was able to sleep well at night knowing he was a warrior who made an impact. He wasn't a coward, he answered the call when it was his time to step up. That is a man we can admire and should strive to emulate.